Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great day. Here to finish up Chapter 5 Study Guide. Let's do a quick audio check, audio and visual check. If you can see me and hear me, give me a thumbs up. Let me do one quick thing real quick, and then we will go from there. Let me send the link to everybody, make sure everyone has the link. All right, getting back into this. Sorry about that. So let's jump to number 13. Looking at number 13, I have some paper here. I just need some pens. All right, so looking at number 13, let's start with number 13. So you need to go plus 1. So we got the cube root of x minus 2 plus 1. So that plus 1 is going to take us that's going to take us up 1 from the origin, and the minus 2 on the inside is going to take us to the right 2. So up 1 and right 2. Up 1 and right 2 should put us right there. All right. And then from there, we just do the cube root function. So that's right 1, or up 1, right 1. Right 8, up 2. So that would be somewhere like way over here. And then we do the same thing, down 1, left 1. And down 2, left 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this graph should be going up like this, to the left like this. And I think it asks us for the domain and range of all that. So let's go domain. So my domain of this is obviously all real numbers, negative infinity to infinity, and my range would be negative infinity to infinity. All right, give me thumbs up just to make sure you're good on that, good on graphing, cube root functions, the square root function. You're good on graphing those. I can tell you this, the test is multiple choice, so you would get on the test, you would get a graph if I was to give you something like that. Just a hint, I'm not going to give you probably anything like that. All right, very good. Good to see you all here today as well. So let's continue on in this matter. I'm going to get a piece of paper here for 14 through 17, probably. So number 14. Number 14. Looking at that, we have 3 is equal to the square root of x minus 9. So first thing we need to do here is square both sides in order to isolate that variable x. So we square both sides. We get 9 is equal to the square root and the square cancel, x minus 9. Then we add 9 to both sides to isolate this x, and we get x is equal to 18. You always check for extraneous solutions. So basically here, if you plug that into 18, 18 minus 9 is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. So we're good there. X is equal to 18. All right, looking at number 15. Moving right along. 15, the square root of 40 plus 3b equals b. So here we want to square both sides. The square root and the square cancel, and I'm left with 40 plus 3b equals b squared. So I'm going to subtract 40 from both sides and 3b from both sides. So that would be minus 3b minus 40. Cancels, cancels, and I'm left with 0 is equal to b squared minus 3b minus 40. Good question, Maddie. We will not. We will not, just due to this being what it is, just online and stuff, you won't have questions from the last chapter. Now, if we were to continue in this online school, which is, I'm sure you all heard from President Trump that we're shutting everything down. Or, I mean, this is just from his press conference that he advised everybody to stay shut down until the end of April. So, again, I haven't got any word, so this is not an official word from the school or anything like that. But just based on what President Trump said yesterday, I don't know what it looks like. But in the future, if we were to have another test, I probably will include some past test stuff just to keep us in a routine. I was hoping this would be temporary, but it could possibly extend. I'm not saying it does extend. Please don't go somewhere and be like, well, Mr. Alpak said that we're going to do this for the rest of our lives. So, all right. Good question, no? Then from here, I need to factor this. This is a quadratic equation, so I need to factor it. So what will multiply to be negative 40, but add to be negative 3? Somebody type that into the chat box. What will multiply to be negative 40, but add to be negative 40? Or excuse me, negative 3. Very good, Maddie. Negative 8, negative 5. Or excuse me, negative 8 and positive 5. So that's b minus 8 and b minus 5. So b is equal to 8 and b is equal to 5 if we set both of those equal to 0. And again, to check whether it's extraneous or not, we would need to do that. So if you... Oh, yeah, thank you. So that would be b is negative 5. Very good. So if you were to look at this right here, and you were to ask yourself, plug it back in. If we plug 8 back in, 3 times 8 is 24. And then, oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, 3 times 8 is 24. 40 plus 24 is 64. The square root of 64 is 8, which is what we plugged into b. So this one's good. You plug in negative 5. This should raise some question with it being negative. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. 40 basically minus 15 is positive 20, the square root of 25, but the square root of 25 is not equal to negative 5. So basically, let me show you that. So if you say 40 plus 3 times negative 5 is equal to negative 5, so 40, and that's going to be minus 15, the square root of 40 minus 15, which is the square root of 25. But what times itself will give you 25? Man, we know that to be 5 and equals negative 5. So this is going to be a technicality here, because if you look on your answer sheet, it's saying that 8. It's saying that 8 is your only answer here. And while you guys are correct that negative 5 times negative 5 is equal to positive 25, technically speaking, anytime it's kind of, go back to our square root test. When I ask you, hey, what's the square root of 25? When I say, what's the square root of 25? You would tell me 5. You wouldn't tell me negative 5. The only time we're technically, but see, that could be confusing here. So, oh man, it's going to be a technicality, and since it's just asking for this, it's just going to be the positive version of it. So your answer will just be 8, and this is what we would consider extraneous. Correct, yeah. Yes, Maddie, correct. On the test, if you had this, something like this, you would just put the positive. I'll try not to give you a multiple choice question that would have like 8 and negative 5. I'll try to do that where it's not, but I could slip up and make a mistake. So, okay. So here we would say B is equal to 8. And again, the ruling, I guess if I'm kind of like a judge here, the ruling behind them not using negative 5 would be that if I was to just ask you what's the square root of 25, everybody would say 5. Practically no one would say negative 5. While negative 5 times negative 5 is 25, okay? Technically speaking, we're just looking for 5 there. Just like a square root quiz. I wouldn't have you write both. I'd just have you write this. This is the general term for more of that square root. So you could say what positive number is multiplied by itself to give you 25. That's another way to kind of look at that. I don't know. That's an interesting thing. I may look that up, but let's keep it as that right there for the answer. Okay? All right, jumping down to number 16. Looking at 16, the square root of 6r minus 21 is equal to r minus 2. So let's square both sides. We know that cancels with that, so I got 6r minus 21 is equal to r minus 2 times r minus 2. From there, we need to FOIL this. So we first FOIL. So 6r minus 21 is equal to r squared first. And then we go outside. That would be negative 2r. Inside, negative 2r. Last, plus 4. Okay. So from here, I need to say 6r minus 21 is equal to r squared minus 4r. Let's combine that. Plus 4. We can then go subtract 6r from both sides, add 21 from both sides. Subtract 6r, add 21. Cancels, cancels. 0 is then equal to r squared. And then I have negative 4 minus 6r would be negative 10r plus 25. I then factor this. Someone type in the chat box, what will multiply to be 25 but add to be negative 10? What will multiply to be 25 but add to be negative 10? Very good, Caitlin. Negative 5 and negative 5. So r minus 5, r minus 5. So we know r to be 5. I then plug that in. 5 minus 2 is 3. So 3 on this side. 30 minus 21 is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. So r equals 5 would be my answer there. Give you a second to get that. All right, look at number 17. So look at number 17 over here. So when we're looking at this is those nasty problems, right? So I'm actually going to go on a new sheet of paper over here. All right. So Christina said, "Is it raining at my house?" I think that's actually here. Hold on, I can go stop the dishwasher. Sorry, Christina. We know we got to take care of you, so I'll stop the dishwasher. That was probably the dishwasher running. Lucy said, I subtracted R, and I got the answer much quicker. Well, Bernice should ask the question, not you. So I thought I canceled it. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. So, Bernice, oh, sorry. Let me go back to this problem. So, Bernice, you said you subtracted R. So, Bernice, are you saying you subtracted R from the beginning? I meant Lucy. Lucy, yeah, sorry. Lucy, sorry. Christina threw me off with Bernice. Okay, cool. And then you said the square root of 6r minus 21 equals r minus 2. And Lucy's saying she subtracted r from the beginning. So minus r equals negative 2. So then you squared this side, squared that side. Is that correct, Lucy? And you still got the right answer? Okay, I would personally, I would not recommend that. I think I don't. I mean, you can try and see. I'm not. I'm definitely not someone that says you have to do it my way or anything like that. I've never been that math teacher, but technically speaking, if you go from here to radical 6r minus 21, and then you said minus r over here equals -2, and you just squared this and you squared that. Is that what you did? Okay, so just to kind of explain the mathematical reason why this shouldn't work, and Christina says what she said. So the square root and the square cancel there, but technically speaking, what you do to one side, and technically you just did it to this and not everything. So in math, what you do to one thing, you got to do to everything. So technically, that's why we would do it to this side and that side. But then you would, if I'm just following it right, minus r equals 4 on this side. So then that would be 5r minus 21 equals 4, and then add 21. It's just one of those things that work there, but yeah, just like the first rules of equation. So it does work there. You get that right answer. But again, you're kind of, it's one of those things that it works like there, but obviously I wouldn't guarantee it to work every time. Now you may want to take the time and go back on the notes and like maybe try them all like that. And if it does work, you know, the more power to you. But and if it does, let me know. And then I could possibly look at the way that we look at it. So, but based on the rules of equations, that wouldn't be possible. Okay? All right. Oh no, no worries at all. No worries at all. You may find something out. So totally understand. I know you're not a rebellious person, so you're good. So again, 16 is r equals 5. And then looking at number 17. So 17 is these ones that can cause us a headache in that. So here we go. 17. I have radical 10k plus 9 minus 1 equals radical 8k plus 4. Now, first step, get the square roots off. So square root, take the square roots off by squaring. That's going to give us this on this side. 10k plus 9, the square root of 10k plus 9, minus 1 times the square root of 10k plus 9 minus 1 is equal to 8k plus 4. The square and the square root cancel there. I'm going to lose this sheet behind us because I think you'll be able to see that a little bit better. Okay, so here we go. First, multiply these two. First, 10k plus 9 times 10k plus 9 will literally, they basically just cancel each other out. Anytime you're multiplying a radical with the same thing underneath, it's just whatever's underneath. 10k plus 9. So that's first. Then we go outside. That would be negative radical 10k plus 9. Go inside. Negative 1 times all of this would be negative radical 10k plus 9. And then go last, and that should be positive 1 is equal to 8k plus 4. Give me a thumbs up if you're good there. Just making sure everyone's good there. We're all seeing that. That's a pretty important step. Good, Kelsey. Good, Bernice. Good, Dom. Good, Christina. Good, Kristen. Good, Caitlin. Anybody heard from Abby? Have you heard from Elena or anybody? Or anybody heard from Elena where she is? I don't know if she was here the last one. She might have been. So 10K plus 9 plus 1 is 10. And we know this right here, so 9 plus 1 is 10. And then that would make negative 2. No, you don't have to. 10K plus 9, thank you though, Abby, is equal to 8K plus 4. Now let's move this all over here. Or actually, we can move all of this over here. So subtract 8K. Subtract 4. And here we're at 2K plus 6 minus 2 radical 10K plus 9. I probably should have moved them that way, but now let's move these back over here so we can divide all of it by 2. So let's subtract 2K minus 6. And that equals 0. So minus 2K minus 6. So we have negative 2 radical 10K plus 9 equals negative 2K minus 6. So I should have just subtracted 10K and 10, moved it over here, and got this. But, sometimes I thought it may look a little bit different over there. Then let's divide everything by negative 2. So that cancels there. And I have radical 10K plus 9 is equal to negative 2. And I could set both of these over negative 2. Both of these parts of the numerator. So negative 2K divided by negative 2 would be positive K. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 would be positive 3. Now we square both sides here. That cancels with that, and I'm left with 10K plus 9 is equal to K plus 3 should be K squared, and then plus 6K plus 9. Once we FOIL that out, hopefully you guys get pretty decent with FOIL. The point where we can, especially like K plus something times itself, you can just kind of do it in your head. So then let's subtract 9 and let's subtract 10K from both sides. So minus 10K minus 9. Cancels, cancels. 0 is equal to K squared. And plus 6 minus 10 would be negative 4K. And obviously that would be plus 0. Or that just simply cancels. So then we ask ourselves, what can I factor out of this? Well, I can factor a K out. And I'll be left with K minus 4. The zero product property tells me that when A times B is equal to 0, then A equals 0 and B equals 0. So K equals 0. And obviously K would then add 4 to both sides. Or let me just work it out. K equals 0. So we know K equals 0 works, or we're going to assume that's one of the answers, and then K equals 4. We're going to assume that's one of the answers. We plug those back in to just make sure they work. That would be 3 minus 1, which is 2. That would be the square root of 4. So if I plug 0 back in here, I'm trying to give you some space here to see this. Let me get the problem. So I'm on 17. Sorry. Let me give you a second, then we'll look at plugging them in. Okay, so then when we come over here to number 17 and we plug 0 in, we plug a 0 into here, okay? That would be 9 square root of 3. Square root of 9 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. Put a 0 in there. That's positive 4. And then square root of 4 is 2. So 0 is good. Plug in a 4. That's 40 plus 9, which is 49. The square root of 49 is 7. 7 minus 1 is 6. 8 times 4 is 32. 32 plus 4 is 36. The square root of 36 is 6. So those both work. K equals 0. K equals 4. And again, you've seen me write those like that as well. Either way would be fine. I'm not trying to confuse you on what way to write it. Either way would be fine there. Always remember to check for extreme solutions. If you're good 14 through 17, give me a thumbs up just to really make sure you're still with me. Everything's looking good there. Any questions at all? If you have a question, ask it. If you're not, give me a thumbs up, smiley face, something like that. Good, Kelsey. Good, Bernice. All right, you guys are all looking good there. So then let's jump over here to number 18. Actually, let me just grab a new sheet. Looking at number 18. So I have... Basically, I'm just going to work this like this is my space right here. So I'm not going to rewrite anything. So I got f plus g of 3. So I'm going to say n cubed plus 3n plus negative 4n minus 2. N cubed plus 3n minus 4n minus 2. Now it's saying to find f plus g of 3. So this is that great debate. Do we simplify here or do we go ahead and plug in, or what do you all think? So plug it in now or simplify it down or what? So Maddie says plug. Plug. Okay. So in this case, yeah, you could plug, but I'm actually going to just simplify this right here. This is easy to simplify. 3 minus 4n is just negative n. So n cubed minus n minus 2. And again, on a problem like this, it's completely fine to like just simplify those two and then plug it in. That would be my route. And that's fine if you plug it all in at the beginning. So 3 cubed minus 3 minus 2. So that should be 27. 3 cubed is 27. Minus 3 minus 2. 27 minus 3 is 24. 24 minus 22, or 24 minus 2 is 22. All right. Let's look at, if you're good with that, no questions. Let's look at number 19. So number 19, we need to find f minus g. So I say 4x minus 5, and then minus, since this is a binomial here, you need to say minus x squared plus 3x. And then that would take us to 4x minus 5 minus x squared minus 3x. And then, of course, we need to evaluate that at that x being 3. So if you could look like right here, I'm going to put, let me try this. I'm going to put negative 3x, and I'm going to put 4x together. So 4 minus 3x is x minus 5 minus x squared. So just combining like terms that are there. So 4 minus 3x would be x. And then I'm just going to plug everything in. 3 minus 5 minus 3 squared. So that's 3 minus 5 minus 9. Three minus 5 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 9 is negative 11. Again, you can plug 3 in from there. That's fine as well. I just combine those because it's one less place to plug it in. So your answer would be negative 11. Jumping down to 20. I'm seeing no questions, so let's jump down to number 20. Look at number 20. It says to multiply these and evaluate them at 3. So 3x plus 2 and negative 2x minus 4. Now, should I FOIL this first or go ahead and plug in 3? Your response in the chat box. Good, Kristen. Kristen says just go ahead and plug it in. So we say 3 times 3. Good, the rest of you. And then negative 2 times 3 minus 4. You guys sound like Kevin Gates in here. Did anybody get that reference, that Kevin Gates reference? Isn't that his name, Kevin Gates, the rapper? Oh, gosh. Maddie says who? Yeah, Maddie. Yeah, don't worry about it, Maddie. Every day of my life, Caitlin. No, I'm just joking, Caitlin. I don't listen to Kevin Gates. I just so the school I came from, they had me to run the music for basketball games, and our basketball games are always got crazy, like crazy hype. And I always ran the music. Well, of course, in public school, you could play. Yeah, that is right, Maddie. I'm just covering it up. So in public school, you could play, more secular music. So I had to sit down and go through every song with the kids. That they would basically they'd give me a playlist, and then we'd have to go through and listen to it. And that Kevin Gates was one of them. I just remember one part, and again, I don't know. This is going to make me sound a little bit dumb, but I just remember one part. I think because you literally got to physically read the lyrics just to make sure it's not too crazy. Yeah, Christine, that's right. Yeah, I got 2 phones, and I think it was one for the plug and one for the load. I think so. Now again, in high school, I probably listen to more secular music, but I don't listen to much music at all. But if I do, I listen to more of that, more of that, not more of that, but I listen to more Christian music. Actually, that'd be all I listen to. Yeah. So I got 2 phones, one for the plug, one for the load, and then they always have me play another one. Something about diamonds being real, really, really, something like that. So, and again, I'm kind of showing I don't know what that would be called, but so I do know some of that song. So then, I'll be walking through a store or in a restaurant, and I hear it come on. It's like, oh my goodness, I know that, So then my wife 21 questions me. She's like, "Are you listening to that?" And I'm just like, calm down, baby. Calm down. Christina said your eyes look like a Siberian fox. Or that's what she thinks, at least. Say my eyes look like a fox? A husky. Don't know about that, Christina. We all know Christina's weird. They're icy. I think, yeah, you know, Miss Opak always tells me that when whatever color I wear of shirt, it can like change to my eye. I don't know what it is, but it almost changes to the eye color. You want to say hey to him? Yeah. Come here. They all said hi.
Hola.
No Spanish. I don't know if Sebastian's with us today.
Cristina habla español también.
You hope she showed you her logo. She did not.
I did. I did.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, she did. It looked good. It looked good, Abby. Not bad. All right, sorry. So working that problem, we get it to be negative 110 once you kind of work it all out. Sosa and Josiah are ditching class. Gotcha. Okay. I'm sure that will reflect their grades. So, I thank you for being in class. So then let's jump over to 21. Sosa says I'm here. Sosa comes out of the dark and says I'm right here. So is Elena and Elizabeth. Man. Everything I've done for them, and then they skip my class like that. 3n plus 2, this is g over h, over 2n plus 5. And I promise you I'll be getting crazy emails like, I didn't know that this was what it was going to be like. And 3 times 1 plus 2 over 2 times 1 plus 5. Tell everyone I said hello. That should be 5 over 7. So we're just going to plug in there and get that to be 5 over 7. All right, then we look at 22. Just a few more, guys, then we're done. Sebastian said, I'm right here. All right. So looking at this one, we want to find f of g. So again, guys, if you remember, that's putting g into f. Okay? So I'm going to put whatever g of n is into the n of f of n. So that looks something like this. 4 times n squared minus 2n plus 2. So I'm putting g into f, into the n of f. So n squared minus 2n into that n. 4 times the quantity of n squared minus 2n. I didn't distribute. I get 4n squared minus 8n plus 2. All right, then I asked myself, what will multiply to be 8, but add to be negative 8? So what will 4 times 2, if I'm factoring this quadratic here, or actually, hey, I don't have to. I can just plug it in. Somebody's about to literally type that into the chat box. So I actually don't have to. I actually don't have to find what that is. I can just plug -1 in. So I caught that one. So 4 times -1 squared minus 8 times -1 plus 2. Okay? So then that would be just positive 4. That would be plus 8, and that would be plus 2, taking me to 14. Okay. Looking at number 23 now. So plug G into H. But now notice this is G, so I need to plug it into both H's. Okay? Or, excuse me, plug 3x plus 4 into both x's of the H. So I say -3, and I'm going to say 3x plus 4 cubed plus 5, 3x plus 4 squared. All right. Now, again, if I had to solve this, this would be a bit of a challenge. If I had to solve this for x, it'd be a bit of a challenge, but I just got to solve it for -1. Hey, on your test, you may have to solve for something like maybe like an x. I don't know on this difficult of one, but just because all those are numbered, don't be, if it has a variable, just solve it for the variable, okay? And meaning just simplify it. So here we got -3 times -1 plus 4. So I'm just plugging 3 into all my x's, or -1 into all my x's, plus 5 times 3 times -1 plus 4 squared. That would take us to -3 plus 4 cubed plus 5 times -3 plus 4 squared. -3. -3 plus 4 would be +1 cubed. So that would just make that -3. And then same thing here. 5, that is going to give us +1. 1 squared is 1, and then that would give us +5. So I should find the answer to be 2 on the answer key. And it is. Any questions over function operations? Give me thumbs up if you're good. Give me a question if you have a question. Good, Bernice. Good, Kelsey. Good, Caitlin. Maddie. Good. Good, Dom. Good, Abby. Good, Christina. All right. No questions. Good, Kristen. Lucy coming with the rap reference. Looking at in 2006. What does that mean, Christina? Okay. So, continuing on. Find the inverse of each function, then graph the function and its inverse. So, I need to switch these out. So, this is y, that's x. So, I just need to say, so I need to switch y and x here. So, that would be n is our x here, is equal to the 5th root of y -2. Okay. I couldn't. I assume you're yeah. So Gucci Mane would have been when I was in high school. So that kind of makes sense going back to the '06 thing. Yeah. I didn't think you would know who Gucci Mane was, but I assume some I assume some new rapper has dropped that line, I guess, feeling like Gucci Mane in 2006. Who would be that new rapper, Christina, since you're full of the rap stuff today? Christina? All right, well, Christina's answering that. Let's look at this. So take the fifth root of both sides. So that's into the fifth. Cancels equal to y minus 2. Then we just add 2 to both sides. So y equals into the fifth plus 2. Is that the guy that snitched on everybody? Got you. Thanks for the clarification there, Sebastian. But there was like some local. But well, who was the guy that came out? Because I remember this song again. This goes back a couple years. Goes to that song that says Gucci Mane, Gucci Mane, Gucci Mane, Gucci Mane. Is that the same song that you're referring to? So f of n is equal to n to the fifth plus 2. Oh, gotcha. Gucci gang. Gotcha. All right. I never really listened to it. So I got you. That makes sense. So it wasn't Gucci Mane, it was Gucci gang. That shows you how much I listened to it. Okay. All right. So good. Good music trivia today. Let's finish these last 2 problems and get out of here. So going on an hour recording. We probably haven't actually been in class for an hour yet, so I hadn't quite been there. What happened to the square in the beginning? So I think no, I don't need to be caught up. I really don't. I don't try to be that person that I don't want to be that guy. I really don't. I don't want to be the person that needs the urban understanding of it. I really don't. But good talking points though. So into the fifth. If you take the fifth, raise each side to the fifth. I think who asked that question? Abby. The fifth root and the fifth will cancel out. So we have into the fifth equals y minus 2. Okay. All right. Now let's graph both of these. Remember that the fifth root of n, it makes the snake kind of on the graph. Okay. So the minus 2 on the inside is going to force us to the right 2. So that's going to force us to the right 2. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. I was thinking, man, that doesn't look right at all. So right 2, we should have a point right there. And we go, again, from here, we've taken care of that. So if we put a 1 in there, we obviously know up 1, right 1. But then that next one would be 32. So up 2, right 32. So it's going way this way, guys. So going extremely fast that way. Left 1, down 1. And then down 2 and left 32. So it's going extremely down that way. And then going to y equals into the fifth plus 2. So plus 2 pushes it up 2. It's on the outside. And then into the fifth is just like in cube. You go right one, up one, left one, down one. You go right 2 and up 32. So that, again, that's going to go extremely fast that way. And that one's going to go like that. And if you think about my x equals, or y equals x, I have a reflection across y equals x. So that's f to the negative 1. I'm sorry there. F to the negative 1 of n is n to the fifth plus 2. I can tell you this on your test, you will not graph anything. You may just be asked for the inverse. Lucy says, are the original functions always going to be sideways and changed function going to vertically? Yes, or it could be the opposite. It's going to be the opposite, whatever it's going to be, Lucy. So if this into the fifth plus 2 was the original function, it's always going to be opposite of that. That's correct. So like this is the fifth root, and the into the fifth is going to do that. They're always one's going to go vertical, you could say, one's going to go horizontally. And again, if you think about x squared is our parabola, but the inverse is the square root of x, and that's doing that. And then obviously negative square root of x would do that. That's not a function, obviously, okay? But one goes vertical, one goes sideways. So I think that's a pretty good analysis. Okay, great question. So when you have an exponent, so think about this. When something grows exponentially, it's going up and down, okay? So anytime you have like the exponent's going up and down. So this is up and down. But when you have the square root of something, okay, it's going to be going side to side or horizontal. Yep. Okay, so last one. So kind of going like on what Lucy is saying here, the cube root of x plus 1, if we're looking at that right there, this is going, since it's a square root or some kind of root, it's going to go sideways. So that means our inverse should go up and down here. Okay? So here we got y equals the cube root of x plus 1. So I'm going to say minus 1 on both sides. Subtract the 1. Equals the cube root of x. Cube both sides. And I have, actually, sorry, I didn't switch them. Sorry, getting ahead of myself, trying to finish. So you got to switch them. Don't forget to switch them, okay? So x equals the cube root of y plus 1. Sorry about that. You got to switch them first. And then subtract our 1. X minus 1 is equal to the cube root of y. Then cube both sides. And I get x minus 1 cubed equals y. So the inverse of g of x is equal to x minus 1 cubed. All right, so again, that has an exponent on it. That one has the cube root. So if we go on kind of the assumption that Lucy kind of brought us to, is that this should go this way, this should go this way. Okay? So the cube root of x plus 1, so that plus 1 is going to move us up 1. And then from there, we just go to the right 1, right? Right 1 up 1. Right 8 up 2. So that would be somewhere over here. Looking like that. and then down 1, left 1. And again, these are just knowing how to graph this, okay? Just like you did x squared. It's just knowing that function. And then so here you go down 1, left 1, and then you go down 2 and to the left 8. So looking something like that. Now to do this one, x minus 1 cubed, minus 1 goes to the right 1. So right 1, and then we do just, and I've kind of taken care of that now. So then I just go right 1 up 1, right 2 up 8, left 1 down 1, left 2 down 8. And then again, if I have this line right here, I can see that it's a reflection. And that is chapter 5, which is chapter 5 study guide. So that is that. Questions of me, or actually, let me explain what happens from here, okay? And then let me explain everything from here, and then I'll take any questions from there. All right. So, what we just completed the study guide. I did everything with you. You saw me work every problem. I'll answer all your questions here in just a second, Maddie. So, we completed the study guide together. You have all the examples, all the problems, all the work. I want you to now go take the practice test. Not at this very second, but tomorrow by midnight, you need to take the 10-question practice test. Okay, there's 10 questions. It's questions that are going to look exactly like the test on Thursday. So this is a practice test. All right, 10 questions. Each question is worth 4 points, and I'm putting whatever grade you have under your quiz grade. It's going to be under a quiz grade, this practice test is. So it's going to be a 40-point quiz grade for you completing it. You have 3 attempts to complete it. So if you get a 20 out of 40 on the first one, I think it'll show you your correct answers, but it'll show you what you missed, but I don't think it gives you the correct one. I'm not 100% sure. Again, it's just practice, so that's why it is what it is. So answer those 10. That's due tomorrow by midnight. Okay, tomorrow by midnight. Now, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go and I'm going to show you on my phone. So if you go to Canvases, you go to your class, whatever this is, and if you go to quizzes right here, guys, you go to quizzes right here, it's under there is chapter 5 practice test. I want you to click there. I can't access it just because I can't access it like from this. But as you see, 40 points, 10 questions. There's no time limits, and you're allowed 3 attempts. It's due March 31st, which is tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. Okay? Now, here's what I want someone to do for me real quick. Would someone go actually on their Canvas and make sure you have access to it? I think I gave you access to it at 11 a.m. today, but can someone go on there and just let's make sure that it's that you have access to it? Like it should say like start quiz or something. Can someone confirm that with me? All right, Sosa says it's good, so I'm going to assume it's good. So again, this is just a practice test. It'll help you see with the test. It'll help you see the format, what the questions are going to look like. Okay, and a bunch of you guys are also saying you're good. Okay, that's due tomorrow, Tuesday at midnight. Make sure you get that done by tomorrow, Tuesday. I'm not going to reopen that for anybody. Okay, it's a practice. You have 3 attempts. You have the rest of the day today. You have tomorrow to do it. So, and it shouldn't take you very long at all to do it. Again, it's multiple choice. So that's that. I will then jump back on here. If you look at our schedule, I will be on here for you. You don't have to come to live class unless you have questions over the practice test or anything about the test. So I will be back here for you at 11 o'clock on Wednesday. Don't feel like you have to come unless you just have questions about, hey, on the practice test, it had this, and I really didn't understand that. Can you explain that to me? I'd be more than happy to explain it to you. Okay? So, and now, I know some of you are bored. If you want to, come hang out, feel free to come out and, I may take some questions. Maybe you can ask me any question then, even besides the test. All right. Any questions with me right now? So shoot me questions right now. Questions that you have about the practice test or the test or anything. Maddie, to answer your question earlier, yes, there will be 25 questions on the test. Yeah, a little Q&A. There you go. Okay. On Thursday, you will have all day to do it. Okay. You'll have all day to do the test, but you do have a time limit. Okay. So on Thursday, you will have a time limit, but you will have kind of all day to do it. Let's not assume that we're all going to have the same questions, because I'm going to group the questions and then it can pull any question out of that group for you. So let's not assume. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not trying to trick anybody. I've told you that from day one, that I'm not trying to be a magician. I'm not trying to test you over something you don't know. But obviously, we will try to put up some safeguards and some boundaries for, to try to prevent people from cheating. Again, I don't care about your grade. I care more about your understanding of all this, okay? And that's what I'm trying to assess here, is your understanding. So I'm not trying to assess, your friend's understanding. We'll do that at a separate time. Kristen, correct. You do not have to come on Wednesday if you don't want to. So practice test Tuesday, Wednesday live session is optional. Take the test sometime Thursday. Give yourself an hour or so. Could be longer than that. Just depends how quick you are. I think I'm going to give you 3 hours just to be a safeguard. I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but that should be plenty enough time for you guys to knock it out. If you have no other questions, thank you guys so much for being here today. I hope you're surviving this. Hope you're staying indoors. Again, let's keep our social distancing. Obviously, they were looking at like maybe Easter, possibly everything getting back to normal. But with President Trump's press conference yesterday saying, "Hey, we're extending this another month," obviously, we want to play pretty safeguards to it. So. And obviously there's some math and all of that, because he said that the projection looked like there to be, if we did not social distance, to be about 2.6 million deaths in America. And folks, if you know anything about numbers, there's 300 million people in America. So, to knock out 3 million of the 300 million, that would be a lot. So. Pretty crazy stuff. So that's why we want to play safeguards. I'm not trying to make you fearful, but just kind of be quarantined, stick to you, and you should be good. And I'm praying for you guys. Know I'm praying for you. I'm here for you. If you have any questions, you need to talk to anybody, feel free to let me know. Be happy to talk to you. All right. If you're all good, just go ahead and you can give me thumbs up, and then you feel free to go. If you have any questions, I'll stick around for a few seconds. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good day. Yes, thank you, Maddie. Have a good day. Thanks, Kelsey. Have a good one. See you, Bernice. See you, Dom. Thanks, Caitlin. Have a good day. I did, Christina.